Alright, today we got a 2000 Infiniti. Okay, I guess she's up now. We got a 2000 Infiniti i30, and what we're doing is we heard the noise of the wheel bearing, and the way you can tell it's a wheel bearing is you can do a couple things. You can either pull the wheel up in the air and then take the actual wheel and shake it from side to side and see if it got some play. Or when you're actually riding down the road, you'll hear like a zzz, 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 almost as if you have a tire with a whole bunch of air in it that has some titties in it. But today we already know that it's definitely the wheel bearing. I've heard it a million times, so that's what we changed. We're changing the wheel bearing. And so for this part one, what I want to tell you what we did was, of course, we secured, always number one, secured the car on jack stands, right? We actually put that on the frame. Then we took the wheel off. As you take the wheel off, you have to take off the, and I'll tell you what, I'm actually taking this off with standard and metric. You know, depends on what I got. Depends on what I got to use my impact for. But the first thing you want to do is take off the brakes. All right, the brake caliper, and that's this right here. Okay, that's the very first thing you do. As you take off the brake caliper, then you have the brake caliper holder or mount, whatever you want to call it, and that comes off with these two bolts. After you get done doing that, then you want to take off. Let me tell you what I did. You're going to actually use the big boy. You're going to have to use the cheater pipe. And then I can tell you what size it is right quick. Where is it? This is it right here. You need to take the spindle lock nut off, and what I used was this is a 1 1/4. Alright, that's what I use. You see the impact there, but that didn't work. You got to use the cheater pipe. Take that off, hit it with some WD-40, and then use the cheater pipe. Alright, so after that, after taking this off, then, oh, my bad, you got to remove the collar pin before you take off that nut. Alright, next thing you want to do is remove the tying rod, and this is, of course, is the outer. So what you do is, where's that screw at? The bolt. You take this bolt, and this is what I always do. Take the bolt, I screw it down a little bit, then I hit it with a hammer, and that allows for this to come off as such. You move that to the side. Always remember to keep your brake calipers up. Make sure not to stress this. I actually took the ABS sensor off with a, I don't remember what bolt that was, but I always remove the ABS sensor. After you do that, you want to remove the steering knuckle, at least the top of it, because the only thing that's holding this on right now is really, you got the strut here, but I'm going to take this off the strut. I'll do it real time for you. Then the only thing you got actually holding this thing in is your ball joint. So I'm going to try to remove this for you while I have it on so you can see the. Let me see what I got here that I can just knock that out. Let me see. I'm trying to do this while I hold the camera here. I might have to put this in part 2, guys. Let me see. Can I hold them? Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to more than likely put this in part 2. Alright, yeah, because I'm going to end up probably tearing up more stuff than fixing it. I don't know. I might be able to do it. No. Anyway, let me take this one off, and then I'll show you starting up part 2 of removal. As you can see, for part 2 or 3, whatever this is, we didn't quite do what we want it to do. Let me show you what we actually end up doing. I left the old control arm in the car. I just didn't bring it in. I just got the new one. This is also now a video on how to replace the lower control arm. It was going to be about the ball joint, but lower control arm. Alright, if you saw the first video and the second video, you saw how we got the steering knuckle off the control arm. You saw how we got the tie-in rod off the control arm. You saw how we got the steering knuckle off the strut. You saw how we put the spindle nut off and got the CV axle off. So let's get down here so I can show you how we took this lower control arm off. Alright, so with the lower control arm, you have these two bolts here. Alright, you need to first remove them by just loosening them, and this whole bracket comes off. 1 and 2. That whole bracket comes off. Then you unloosen this right here. Alright, once you take off this and take off those two, you have to slide the control arm. Remember, this bolt is going to be off. You have to slide the control arm towards you. Sorry about that. And then you, that's it. Then you put the steering knuckle on top of the ball joint, because remember, it comes with the ball joint. You tighten the ball joint nut right here on the steering knuckle, okay, where it has the hub on it that we went ahead and replaced the bearing in here. And what we're about to do now is we're about to put the CV axle through the hub. Once we do that, we're going to attach it here, and I already showed you how to put on the tie rod. Then after that, we put the bracket on right here and the brakes, and that's it. Then we'll change the brakes on the other side, and that should be it. Oh, don't forget about this ABS sensor. Alright, so we're going to do that, but remember, this is very simple. You take off those two brackets, those two bolts for the bracket. You remove this bolt here. You slide, because remember, this right here doesn't change. You slide the control arm towards you. Once you slide the control arm towards you, able to take everything off. But you have to remove all of this first. You can actually, remove just this without having to take off the steering knuckle. It's just going to be tough. Alright? And more than likely, you'll probably damage the ball joint cover here where all the grease is kept. So let's do that. Let's put everything back on, and we'll check back with you for part 3 or 4. I don't know what it is, but we'll put all this on. Remember, this is going to go into here, this is going to go on here, and then we're going to put this back on the steering knuckle bracket on the rotor. Don't forget that rotor, and that's it. So I'll check back with you all.